Welcome to Oil City High School. My name is Scott Stahl, principal of the building, and I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you well as we start the 2021 school year. I also hope that you and your family are safe during these trying times. Today, I'm going to do my best at giving you a look at the high school to hopefully make you better acquainted with the building so that hopefully your first few days with us will not be stressful. Our tour starts like most days at Oil City, and that is at the bus entrance in the rear of the building. Students will exit their bus and enter the high school. Should you have any immediate questions upon arrival, we have staff available at the entrance to assist students. As you enter the building, I would like to draw your attention to our one-way halls. Students will be reminded of hall traffic patterns by signs on the walls as well as stickers on the floor. We ask that all students please follow our traffic patterns to help promote social distancing as we travel the halls. This year will be a little different, as can be expected. Instead of going to the cafeteria to get breakfast, students will be greeted by cafeteria staff that will offer each student breakfast to go. After receiving breakfast, students are asked to please report to their first period classroom. Upon arrival, students will be greeted by their teachers as well as find information regarding their lockers and daily schedule. Our tour starts in the art department with rooms 27 and 29, Mrs. Simon and Ms. Gunn. Students will have a variety of class offerings from these two instructors that include 2D and 3D art, painting, drawing, ceramics, as well as photography. Our first intersection inside the building allows students to either turn left and enter our auditorium and music department, turn right and enter the history department, or continue into the math department. We are going to turn left and enter our music wing. Upon immediately turning left, students will see the entrance to our auditorium. The Oil City High School Auditorium is the largest auditorium in all the surrounding schools, seating just under 1,000 individuals. The auditorium plays host to a number of musical performances throughout the year, as well as our annual musical. Rooms 23 or 29 and 30 are home to Mr. Luxbacher and Mr. Carter. Mr. Luxbacher teaches our choral students, and Mr. Cartwright teaches instrumental music as well as American popular music and music appreciation. Let's take a look inside Mr. Luxbacher's room. The music hall doubles as storage for music instruments as well as our band uniforms for the marching band season. As we get closer to the end of the hall, room 30 is Mr. Cartwright's classroom. After leaving the music department, we will enter our technology wing at the high school. Rooms 31, 32, and 33 are Mr. Contaxis, our architectural drawing and CAD instructor. Mrs. Johnson is in room 32. Mrs. Johnson, formerly Miss P, takes care of our broadcasting duties. And room 31 is Mr. Maurer, our wood tech instructor. During this virtual tour, I'm going to do my best to break the building down into smaller sections so that you will be able to navigate the halls your first few days. With that said, we have just completed the first loop of our tour, and we are once again back to where we started at the bus entrance. Our next loop will take us through the history department, learning support, computer tech support, business and technology, physical education, and then the cafeteria. We have once again arrived at one of our main intersections of the high school. This time we will turn right and enter the history hallway. Rooms 15 through 19 comprise our history staff. Rooms 15 and 16, students will find Mr. Davis and Mr. Vogan. Both teach freshman U.S. history. Rooms 17 and 18 are home to Miss Scalise and Mrs. Stock. And room 19 is the new home to Miss Heath, who has moved from our alternative education program to our history department. Let's take a look inside. Room 20 is our resource room, and that is staffed with special education teachers throughout the day to assist IEP students with their academic needs. Some of those learning support teachers include Mr. Bickle, who can be found in room 21, and Mrs. Fulmer in room 23. As we come to the end of the hall, you will see that we must turn right and work our way to the computer tech office. Should you experience any computer problems, we have staff available to assist you. Room 25 is Mr. Best's room. Mr. Best teaches a number of business classes as well as a required course called Career Explorations. Room 26 is home to Mr. Johnson. One of our language teachers teaches Spanish. At this intersection, students may choose to go left or right. Left takes us to the gym and physical education, and right takes us to the cafeteria. We are going to turn left and visit phys ed. Entering the doors on the left, students will be greeted by Mrs. Tigert, Mr. Heber, and Mr. Miller. This group of teachers is responsible for boys and girls phys ed, as well as health and lifeguarding. The Oil City High School gym plays host to a number of varsity athletic sports throughout the year, starting in the fall with girls volleyball, winter boys and girls basketball, and some competitive cheerleading events. As we leave the gym, students will find themselves back at the intersection of the history department. As you can see, we will follow the directional signs that take us back past the computer tech office. But that's okay, because we're on our way to the cafeteria. This time at the intersection, we will turn right and make our way to the cafeteria. We have undergone some very nice improvements to the cafeteria that include a little facelift with paint, new ceiling fans to help improve circulation, and round tables to help promote our Oilers Together philosophy. Let's take a look inside. As you can see, the cafeteria is empty right now after completing a final coat of wax. Hope to have everything put back together later today. As we leave the cafeteria area, we will find ourselves once again at the bus entrance, and that completes the second loop of our tour. The third loop of our tour is going to take us to our math, English, and foreign language departments. In addition to seeing those departments, we'll also have a chance to see the library, our VEX robotics room, the guidance or student services area, and the main office where the secretaries, assistant principal, and principal are located. Room 14 starts our third loop of the tour with Mr. Harriet in our math department. Mr. Harriet teaches a number of math classes that include pre-calculus. Let's take a look inside. Room 13 is home to Mrs. Warner, who teaches Algebra 2 and Geometry. Room 12 is Mr. Skinner, who teaches Algebra 1 and Trigonometry. Room 11 is Mr. Levan, who teaches Calculus. Mr. Levan is also our athletic director, and he may be able to assist you with any of your athletic questions. Room 10 ends the math department with Mrs. Green, who teaches Algebra and Plane Geometry. Room 9 starts the English department with Mrs. Johnson. You may remember that name from earlier in the tour in our broadcasting suite. Mrs. Johnson teaches sophomore English as well. Room 8 is Mrs. Burkett's room. Mrs. Burkett teaches pre-AP English to freshmen. Let's take a look inside. Room 7 is Miss Barsis, who teaches freshman English. And room 6 is Mrs. Lenz, who teaches yearbook, among many other classes. Room 5 is Mr. Sheets. Mr. Sheets teaches sophomore and senior English. Room 4 is where you can find Mr. Black, our English department head, who also teaches junior English. Across the hall from Mr. Black's room, you will find the nurse's office. And as we make our way to the end of the hall, we begin our language area, which starts with room 3, where you will find Spanish teacher, Mrs. Lita. At this intersection, students will see to their left is the library. Straight ahead, they will find room 2, Mrs. Webster, who teaches French and Spanish, and room 1 is our VEX robotics room with new teacher, Mrs. Smith. As we turn right, students will find themselves in the office portion of our building. The main office is home to Mrs. Bernizen and Mrs. Watson, our office secretaries, who will assist you with many of your questions, as well as the assistant principal and principal's office. right side of the hall, students will find our guidance office, otherwise known as the Student Services Center. Mrs. Harkless, the guidance secretary, will greet you and put you in contact with your guidance counselor, Mr. Burkett, for grades 9 and 11, and Mrs. Campbell for grades 10 and 12. There's just one more area of the building to take you, and that is the science wing. It is located on the second floor of the building. As you may have already noticed, the one-way halls add a little time to your travels. Your teachers will be flexible with you, but we do ask that you do your best in getting to and from your classes as quickly as possible. We have built in 3 minutes of transition time between classes, and typically that is plenty of time, but we are aware there may be some delays. I say this as I begin the longest walk in the building to illustrate that getting to the science wing can be done between classes. To get to the science department, you may have noticed that we have once again passed our bus entrance and the main intersection. Proceed to our math classrooms. At the end of this hallway, you will see the entrance to the stairs right next to room 12, Mr. Skinner's room. As we enter the second floor, we are greeted by Miss Purvis in room 215. Miss Purvis teaches biology and environmental sciences. Room 214 is where you'll find Mr. Picknick, who teaches biology, general science, and chemistry. Miss Sippy can be found in room 213. Miss Sippy teaches biology and environmental sciences. Room 12 is Mrs. McGarvey's room. She teaches Chemistry 1 and Chemistry 2. 211 is home to Mr. Crocker, who teaches General Sciences, Biology 1 and Biology 2. Miss Masters can be found in room 210. Miss Masters is the science department head, as well as teaching physics and biology. Room 209 is special education teacher Mrs. Whitmer. Mrs. Whitmer also teaches biology. Room 208 is home to special education teacher Mrs. Barnhill. Mrs. Chichek teaches life skills in room 206. Mrs. Tigert, Mr. Miller, and Mr. Hebert teach health class in room 205. And at the end of the hallway, students will find Mrs. Oakes in Family Consumer Science. Let's take a look inside at the newly remodeled Family Consumer Science room. Well, as we walk down the steps and make our way back to the first floor, I would like to thank you for joining me on our tour of the Royal City High School. I look forward to seeing you and hope that you stay safe and well. Have a great day.